Hello everybody and welcome to Gameless, a show about our game of the year 1 month at a time. This is a special little bonus episode. I'm here, I'm Jake, this is Kaulin. Kaulin, what's poppin'?
I'm Kaulin.
Why don't you just tell me out of 10 what you rate the State of Play, 10 being the best, before we get into things.
Like an 8.5.
8.5, I'm at a 7 and that's pretty good, but let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. We're in between seasons, if you will. In January, we wrapped up the 2023 Gameless season. We talked about all of our favorite games and the news that was going on. In a couple days, we'll be recording the first episode of the new season, the 2024 season, where we'll talk about all of February's upcoming releases. We'll talk about all the games that we played in January, and we'll start ranking our game of the year 1 month at a time. But today, we wanted to bring you a special little episode because we both watched the PlayStation State of Play today, and we're both pretty hot on it. So
yeah.
You get a little bonus episode, little bonus preview, the calm before the storm. We also, if you're watching the YouTube version, thanks so much, like and subscribe. But you get a little preview of our new overlay, our new 2024 look for the Gameless show. We're stepping into the future, baby. But hopefully that gets us a couple more clicks and it's easier on the eyes for you. Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you're listening to this in a podcast app, thanks so much. Why don't you go ahead and review us and make us feel nice in the brain.
I see where you updated Twitter and changed it to X.
I did take the plunge and go X. I think it's, at this point, the logos are important to have correct. I also added TikTok, which wasn't on there before. Out
of solidarity, I think I would have left it a third.
We were rehashing things. We were making things look pretty. If we're updating for 2024, why would we use 2022's logo, you know? But
also, I'm not really on Twitch anymore.
Yeah, but you can find you on Twitch. You're in my chat on Twitch.
That's true.
I'm on Twitch as I would like. I'm streaming on everything. I thought about putting the Kick logo on my shit, but I'm not really. I'm just multi-streaming on Kick. I have 5 followers. Not really. YouTube's blowing up though. Twitch is going great. I'm streaming more than ever. I'm reacting to things. We got all sorts of content coming up. But that's enough of that. That's enough of that. We're going to talk all about that kind of shit in the next few days when we record our 2024 episode. Let's get to the topic at hand.
Let's talk about PlayStation.
PlayStation had a strong showing. First of all, let's talk about Herman Hulst hosting. Wasn't it nice not to see skeletal Jim Ryan come out there and talk down to us?
It was. I really like Herman. I think he always does a good job. He's like he's got a welcoming presence or something.
He does.
You know?
Yeah.
I like him. He also came from more of a development background. Like he worked at Guerrilla on that team. I don't know his entire history, but like Jim Ryan was the business guy. At least Herman Hulst was the gamer maker turned business guy type thing, you know?
Yeah, he's one of us.
Good. Yeah, one of us. Absolutely.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I did a great job.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they opened the show off with something that was pretty easy to predict. Oh, how in tune with leaks were you before this show?
Medium, I feel like.
I think I had about 70% of the show leaked for me, but it was one of those inconsistent leaks where I wasn't positive if it was all going to come to fruition, but about halfway through the show, I was like, okay, we're waiting on this Until Dawn thing, you know, because I had seen that come out, and I was like, okay, everything that I've heard about this show in the last 72 hours is starting to come to fruition, so at this point, I'm not too surprised. It makes me look good as, like, a professional reaction YouTuber who goes, oh, this is Until Dawn. Oh, this has to be Until Dawn.
Yeah, you
everyone's
totally
like, "Whoa, sniped it, Jake." I'm just kidding. I was transparent. We each have reactions up on our YouTube channels as well. I think we should plug that. You're Kaulin _. I'm Jake Twitchin on all platforms. You can just you'll figure it out. You're an adult of the internet, so you found our podcast. You can find us. It's good shit. Good shit.
Yeah, the Until Dawn remaster. Getting ahead of ourselves, but it was one of the things that I saw on Twitter beforehand that was like, this is most likely happening. I didn't know if I believed it at the point though, but once it popped up,
that was actually one of the earliest things that I saw as well. But we'll get there. We're gonna take this thing in order, I think is the plan. And it opened up with Helldivers 2, which is, I mean, honestly, this was a really easy prediction to make. When they announced the State of Play, they announced that it was going to be 40 minutes long. It was coming on January 31st. There was going to be a deep dive on Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin. And that's pretty much it. But it didn't take a genius. One of my very early predictions is that we will see a grand showing of Helldivers 2 and Foamstars, which both ended up coming to fruition because those are two games. One of them that has the PlayStation State of Play, the PlayStation Plus collaboration coming up on February 6th, and then Helldivers 2, which is first party published, second party developed, releasing on February 8th. So they showed off Helldivers one last time, and you were impressed with it, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited for this game. I think this is going to be a really fun like co-op game.
Sure.
I'm definitely.
Are you buying day one?
Yeah, easily.
Is it getting a physical?
I think so.
Interesting. And I know it's launching day and date on PC, which is pretty cool.
Yes,
but
so
I can't help but feel like they're missing the mark not giving this away for free on PlayStation Plus.
I feel like it's more than that. You know, I don't know. I feel like it deserves more than that. It does have a physical, and it's only a $40 game, even if you do buy it.
Yeah,
so
I do like that. I think it could have its moment, though. I think that if this game comes out and reviews really well, I don't think it's going to have a really strong opening day, but it could have a really strong opening weekend. You know what I mean? In a strong first month, if it catches on. I think it's smart launching on PlayStation, and I think there's a hardcore group of fans that like Helldivers 1 and are ready for this game to release. So if the word of mouth is good, it could catch fire. But this is not on my list of games to pick up or play right now at the $40 price point. Even
you don't think so? I feel like it'd be perfect for you, like the co-op stuff.
It's
like,
one of those things where it's like it's tough to compete with Game Pass and doing that kind of thing for free. Like it's not a game that I can like. It's tough to rationalize in my group of 4 co-op buddies an IP that they don't know for $40 for a multiplayer shooter that seems so similar to the finals, or I understand like it's not Apex Legends, it's not a battle royale, but like, you know, Risk of Rain 2 I guess is probably its closest thing, or there's so many Game Pass games that we play co-op. It just, in the world of video games, it becomes a tough sell. You know, they have to bring $160 worth of value out of us to all buy it. I don't think it's there. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong and they see it and they're like, let's fucking get this thing. I'd be in on day one. I'm not buying it alone.
That's
all right.
fair.
Let's take a look. The second thing that they showed was, honestly, for me, second hypest thing of the show.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade had a grand showing. I was hot on Stellar Blade. We've talked about this on the show before, and this was the game that was originally Project Eve. And I don't know, how would you describe this video game?
How would I describe it?
Yeah.
I would say hot anime girl. Hot anime girls plural. Any girl in this game is hot. Anything else in this game is kind of gross. But it's got like Nier Automata vibes to it.
Yeah.
And like that's pretty much all I got. Anime girl, Nier Automata vibes, maybe. Alien?
I was saying on stream that it's landing somewhere between like Bayonetta and Nier Automata, but it's also got like that tiny little sprinkle of like, and I guess Nier Automata and Bayonetta both have this too, but like almost like a Final Fantasy in there as well, as far as like the theme goes. But it's also a little bit fucking disgusting, more so than any of the 3 games that we just mentioned. It's a very interesting looking game, and the thing that they showed off this time is like, we've seen this game up and down. We saw it when it was Project Eve. We saw the reemergence of Stellar Blade that had a little bit more emphasis on story, and I think what they really focused on this time was like, here's a look at like the variety that this game has to offer as far as like weapons, skills, traversal of the world, and most importantly, the thing that stood out to me was like most of this game just looked like it took place inside of a spaceship up until this trailer, and they showed off environmental design in this.
All the different environments in this trailer.
Yeah, it looked really, really nice. This game is, I think, going to be really special, man. I hope that it catches fire. It seems like the showing was good. The response in my chat of like 20 people was all really like I saw people verbally like telling me through chat that they are being sold on this game actively, you know?
Yeah.
Like I really think that this game could be a new IP darling, which we don't see that often anymore in the world of fucking sequels and reboots and remakes. It's nice to see something that's wholly original, obviously drawing inspiration from things that we've seen before, but hot damn, Stellar Blade is looking really, really good. And for me, I talk so much about how I'm influenced by Game Pass and like sponsorships and like, shit, shelling out $70 for a brand new game these days feels like it happens less and less for me. I'm in day one. I'm gonna buy Stellar Blade. And
yeah.
I love that this game has been a little bit mysterious. April 26th, baby.
So soon. That's
right
really
around the
soon.
corner. It's such a great release date too, because after Final Fantasy, we are a little bit in this like, what does 2024 look like no man's land? You know, March on is pretty mysterious. I guess like through March we've been pretty good. Obviously we have that big March 22nd day where we get Rise of the Ronin, Dragon's Dogma 2, and Princess Peach Showtime all at once. But April through December is still so mysterious, and to see things start to kind of fill out with this is really, really nice. But super hot. Are you gonna play this game? Are you gonna buy this?
Oh, absolutely. I'm 100%
nice, man.
on this game. I think this game looks really good. It has like it's establishing like an identity for itself in like the world design and the character design. I think it just looks so cool. One thing that I noticed in the trailer itself is your character Eve is wearing like all sorts of different hot clothes. Like like there's like, I don't know, like streetwear, and then there's like her high-tech suits, and then it looks like a super like fashion game almost in all the different clothings that she was wearing.
Yeah, we can dress up our android. Is she human?
I don't know. I don't
think so.
That's the thing, is I don't know. There's so much.
I'm sure it'll have some kind of commentary and some things to say about that.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. And there's so much like left up to interpretation, I guess. We don't know that much, really. It's just there's so much going on. It's hard to draw any conclusions from this game.
Yeah.
But I'm super
grand
excited.
showing, and for me, second best showing of the show, followed, usurped only by the next game they showed. Maybe go on. It's your game of the show as well. Tell us everything you saw about Sonic Cross Shadow, Sonic Shadow, Sonic X Shadow Generations,
you don't even
baby.
know the name. You don't even know
game of the show.
name.
I'm just trying to. I don't know how to verbalize it. I'm just trying to, do the best that I can.
I abstain from talking crap about this.
This game looks so sick. Okay, Sonic Generations is one of the best Sonic games that's come out in the last 15 years or so. If you're not familiar with it, it is. Are you familiar with it?
No.
Sonic Generations came out, I want to say it was like 2010 or 2012, perhaps.
I know it's got ugly Sonic and then uglier Sonic.
Correct. So it's got modern Sonic and classic Sonic, and it kind of melded the two at a time when the 3D Sonics were not very well regarded, and we were begging to get back to that 2D era. And it had levels that starred each of the Sonics, so there were 2D playing and 3D playing, and they both played really, really well. It's a very tight video game. It's actually much more impressive than a lot of its predecessors and a lot of the games that came after it, and it's really beloved by fans as well. So it's got good bones. And what's really interesting is that all the behind the scenes stuff about this is it is much more than a Sonic Generations remake / remaster. To the point of, I believe that this game is actually going to be 50% Sonic Generations, and then the new Shadow content will be another 50%. It seems to be a full campaign of like a standalone Shadow game that's baked in here. That is not a remake or a remaster, but it's brand new, probably using the engine, a modified version of the engine, to put Shadow in a 3D playing field and star in a game essentially for the first time in quite a while, to be honest, since Sonic 06, I guess would probably be the answer for the last time he was in there. But I'm red hot on this. I think this is a very, very good look, and this could be the best reviewed Sonic game in a long time, man.
Well, that's not hard to do, let's be honest.
I mean, Sonic Frontiers did okay. I think it's probably in the mid 7s, which is decent. I could see this game getting like mid 8s, like 85 Metacritic score, which would be very, very impressive for the Sonic franchise. They need a big win like this, and this looks like it might be it.
Yeah, I don't care anything about this game.
Yeah, but I know you don't, but this
Sonic
for me,
fans
game of the
have
show.
been eating recently. I feel like y'all have gotten.
We really have, yeah. Dream Team, Superstars, and Frontiers, and now this. It really does look like a return to form. Some of those little segments. It's only a minute and 10-second long trailer, but some of the segments, I can't wait until some people really dissect it and show us what's going on in there, because the actual control of Shadow looks like really tight 3D Sonic platforming from like the Sonic Adventure to Shadow the Hedgehog Sonic 06 era, but like perfected. It looks really tight. So super excited, super hot on that. Where are you at on Zenless Zone Zero?
It looks visually, it's a very like stylistic and impressive game in terms of its design, but I still don't know like how it plays. Like, is it turn-based? Is it live?
I have no fucking idea.
Is it like action combat?
I do like the pink-haired waifu though.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the hot anime characters for sure. But until I see some reviews, I don't think this is a game.
I think this game is going to be fucking gigantic, and yeah, like the first two MiHoYo games or HoYoverse games, I don't think that I'm going to enjoy them. Obviously, they're hot on the heels of Honkai Star Rail and
Genshin Impact.
Genshin Impact, those are the ones. But yeah, Zenless Zone Zero is for a group of people, and I think if that game comes out and it's free to play and it starts making buzz, I'm sure I'll hop in and give it a couple hours the same way I did with those other ones. But
do we know if it's free to play? Like, exactly.
No, but I assume it is. I don't think they've ever made something that's not just like predatory gacha games. That's just kind of what they do.
True. That's true.
Like absolutely murdering wallets is what HoYoverse is all about.
If it works, I guess. I don't know. At least I can
Too
abstain.
Real. Yeah. Look at this fucking key art, dude. Foamstars had a glow up, bro. And I want you to take it away because you said really nice things about Foamstars during your reaction.
The funny thing is, I wasn't trying to be nice. I just was. Here's what I said. Foamstars looks like the trailer that it got today was vastly different than the trailers it's gotten in the past in terms of presentation. Like, the game itself looks pretty much the same, but something about the tone and the presentation about the trailer today has me more interested than the past trailers.
Sure.
I still don't think this will be a game that I'm into for very long, but since it's coming to PS Plus for free, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I think you and I would have a fun time. Do you remember when we did the Splatoon beta?
Yeah, the beta
thing. Like, we had a good time with that, and I can picture that being the case again. I really hope that you hop on there with me. I'm glad that you're willing to check it out, because I don't need to go on and on about how into Foamstars I am. Like, it started as a meme being into Foamstars, and then playing that beta. It's the most I've played a beta since like Halo 3, man. Like, I literally played that game for like 16 hours and I adored it. Like, I was so over the moon on how tight the controls are and how much fun it is to play. And I've tried time and time again to explain the multiplayer mode that is the star of the show for Foamstars, where you start off with points and you have lives, and then once you're out of lives, you essentially spawn like a VIP, if you will, and the game transitions halfway through to, instead of being like a deathmatch, it becomes a like play cautiously and protect your VIP while trying to eliminate the opposing team's VIP. Again, I'm doing a half-assed job of explaining it. You have to play it to understand it. It is the coolest game type ever, and I don't think I've seen it in any other games outside of, I believe Gears of War has something kind of similar, but I haven't played that myself. But Foamstars is one to look out for, and I'm really excited to talk about it with you once we both got our hands on it, because I think this game is going to be a big deal, and I think that it might be slow starting, but from what I read online, we're looking at like a 3 to 6 months exclusivity on PlayStation, and then it's going to go multi-platform, and it's going to get Square Enix collabs that might be able to carry it into being something. If they put in a fucking Tifa and Cloud skin, man.
I was about to say, you're gonna pay $20 for a Tifa skin?
Do you think I wouldn't?
No, I think you would.
You say a number and I'll tell you if I would pay that much for a Tifa skin in Foamstars.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would hit $3 figures. Yeah, I'd pay 70.
Oh my god. And you won't pay $40 for Helldivers?
No, Tifa.
You're what's wrong with the game, the games industry right now. It's you.
And I would like the Tifa skin more because it was so expensive and because other people didn't have it. They're like, I'm not paying that. And then every time I'd play, I'd be Tifa. I'd be hot.
Yeah, but Tifa degenerates are just full on degenerates. They're all gonna pay for it.
Dude, did you see the fucking Pornhub top searched terms for 2023?
No.
Oh.
Was it Tifa?
Me either. Yeah, she did. No, Chun-Li was, dude, no, it's so
Chun-Li.
funny. The first #1 for like search terms, like they broke it down by games and then they broke it down by characters. Cammy was like probably top 20, bottom half of the top 20. But the fucking dude, #1 was Chun-Li from Fortnite. People were just googling Chun-Li Fortnite. Isn't that so cursed?
Oh no.
Let me. I'll find you. I'll find this list for you real quick.
Okay. Well, while you're working on that, I'm going to talk about the next thing on the list.
I'm already good. Most searched. Just real quick. Porn aside. Fortnite #1, Overwatch #2, Minecraft 3, Pokemon 4, which is so cursed. Atomic Heart 5. Isn't that weird that Atomic Heart is in the top 5?
No, because they have the hot robots. You remember those?
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that doesn't do it for me. Genshin Impact, Resident Evil, Valorant, League of Legends,
What,
Mortal
Pokemon
Kombat.
does? You think Pokemon being above Atomic Hearts is normal?
Yeah, Pokemon's been sexualized for a long time. Have you ever seen Gardevoir? You'd fuck it.
No, I've not.
You would.
This is a corner of the internet that I'm not on, and you know what? I'm not mad about it.
I get it. #1 for characters is Chun-Li, Fortnite, but obviously Street Fighter. #2 is Tifa from Final Fantasy. #3 is Diva from Overwatch. #4 is Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. #5 is from Resident Evil. Guess.
Really? That many? Oh,
Guess
it's gonna be Lady D, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. #6, bro. It's fucking Sonic.
Oh my god! I was gonna say, tell me the franchise and I'll guess who it is.
#7 is also Resident Evil.
Ooh, that's gonna be maybe one of Lady D's daughters. No, it's gonna be Ashley from RE4.
You're on the money, but you're one off.
It's gonna be Claire from RE2.
Ada Wong. #8 is from Super Mario Bros. Who do you think it is?
Peach.
Wrong, it's Mario. No.
You're kidding.
The last two are both from Overwatch. It's Mercy and Widowmaker.
So what I'm hearing
Good segment. Sorry, Foamstars, for interrupting.
Oh my god. Anyways,
a little bit of time. Dave the Diver is coming to PS5 and with Godzilla DLC, which is so funny, bro.
Yeah. Have you played Dave the Diver?
No, it's on my list though. I really want to play it. Everything I hear about it, sometimes I hear about Dave the Diver and someone talks about it and I go, oh, that's the game for me. And then other times I hear people talk about it and I go, I would not like doing that. It seems like I'm going to like parts of it and dislike others.
That's fair. I'm super excited for it. I've been waiting for it to come to PlayStation just because it's a game that I want to kick back over like a month and get the platinum on it. Yeah. Very excited.
It was funny as the Godzilla thing happened and they started playing the music and he started rising up and you're like, what's going on? Like I was so much faster just from my like Godzilla history of like, like hearing that music. I was like, is this about to fucking and sure enough, bro.
I thought it was going to be like a PlayStation collab. So I was like, is that going to be Jormungandr? Like the world serpent?
Godzilla pops up in video games like it's going out of style. We need a new Godzilla game.
Not long ago.
Yeah, and he was in Gigabash. You know this game? It's kind of like Power Stone inspired. Power Stone inspired. I'm Power Stoned, bro.
That came out.
It was on PlayStation Plus a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, or within the last couple months.
Yeah, I probably own it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's online. It's got some really cool stuff going on. Let's talk about V Rising. We won't spend much time here. I think that's an interesting one.
V Rising, for those who don't know, it's like an isometric survival vampire inspired thing, hence the V. I'm actually really excited about it. I've seen it on Steam for a long time and wanted to play it, but
it's a typical crafter. It's a tough time. What's the other crafting game that's out right now? That's not Palworld. No.
Oh, Enshrouded?
Yeah, don't you feel bad for that?
Yeah, I do. But honestly, I didn't even know what Enshrouded was until somebody the other day was like, I'm playing Enshrouded today. And I'm like, what is that?
It looks really cool, but it just doesn't have Pokemon. Can we make a pledge not to like talk a bunch about Palworld in the next episode? Like I'm so sick of hearing about fucking Palworld.
Yes, I'm so tired of hearing about it. I'm not gonna play it. It's not for me. It's not a
I
game
put
that
like a dozen hours into it. I'll talk about my gameplay experience with it, but I hate all the speculation on like the legality and shit. A bunch of
I don't care,
non-lawyers
you know?
talking about like legal
Yeah.
shit. It's just like very stupid commentary, and it's like just because you're a fan of Nintendo, like I don't know.
Like,
It's all talk
okay,
to a
go
professional.
sue Digimon next, you know? Go sue Tim
Yeah,
Tim.
dude. People have been like, look at the Dragon Quest designs. It's very, very stupid shit. Let's not get into it because it actually frustrates me. Let's get into one of the cooler announcements of the night. Silent Hill short message, which is available right now. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna stream this right after we finish rolling. Yeah, I don't usually do slow. Like,
what is wrong with you?
I know. I just feel like it's gonna be fun content to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that it's standalone, it kind of reminds me like, what if it's good? It's giving PT vibes, is the thing, you know?
So you should download it now and never delete it in case it goes off.
Right, exactly. And I don't do horror games, but something about this seems really interesting to me. So I'm gonna give it a go. But it's a short Silent Hill experience.
I'm gonna from this. Yeah, it's just a short Silent Hill experience, pretty much. I'm gonna make a bet, or not a bet, but I'm gonna predict that you're gonna hate it and play for about 15 minutes and then call it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to check it out. I'll probably be checking it out like next week at some point.
Yeah, you should stream it too. It's a standalone full title. It's got to be less than 2 hours long, you know?
I mean, I definitely plan on streaming it. I've just got to get to a moment with more time.
Pretty cool. And then they rolled that right into Silent Hill 2. And they finally showed off a good chunk of Silent Hill 2 with some gameplay and whatnot, which was really exciting. And honestly, it looks really good. Like, I am proud of Silent Hill for coming back and excited to see them try to capitalize on you know, the survival horror genre has become only more popular since Silent Hill left the limelight, and it's one of the OGs, and I think it deserves to be spoken about as highly as like the Alan Wakes and Resident Evil 4s of last year and the Dead Spaces of last year are. So I hope that in a year where there's less competition, it gets a chance to thrive. Concerning part, no date, bro.
Yeah, no date. Well, a couple things is like kind of my thought process going from Silent Hill short message to Silent Hill 2. I initially thought short message was going to be Silent Hill F. I don't know if you remember that. It was the one with all the
definitely. I can't forget Silent Hill F, dude. It fucks me up, man. I think about that fucking weird ass mushroom face fucking dropping and peeling down all the time. It lives in my nightmares. That's one of the grossest things I've ever seen at like a fucking video game event. I really wish I had never seen it, if I'm being honest.
See, that's what I was excited for Silent Hill F, and then it was Silent Hill short message, and I was a little disappointed. And then they're like, "Oh, it's free and it's out now," and I was like, "Oh heck!"
My guess is that in the Silent Hill short message trailer, there was like a mention about cherry blossoms, which I think featured pretty prominently in Silent Hill F. There's a lot of like fungus and flowers and things like that.
Oh, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a lily of some sort that I think was prominently featured because it's like very.
Yeah, I can see there being a tie-in there, maybe bridging the gap.
But also I think
like
Silent Hill F was supposed to be set like in the past, like way back.
Yeah, you might be right, but I mean, who the fuck knows?
I don't know. It could still tie over. It's all Silent Hill stuff, but
anything else
Silent Hill 2. I never played Silent Hill 2 originally. So
you haven't played any Silent Hill.
I've never played any Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to check out Silent Hill 2 remake when it comes out. But I didn't realize there was this much combat. I thought it was more like psychological and not as much combat as the trailer showed.
I think it's less. That trailer seemed a little bit more action packed. It's very there's a lot of walking around and like puzzle solving for sure in Silent Hill 2, but it is at its core very similar to the Resident Evil series, but it takes itself more seriously. There's less camp, you know. Resident Evil is almost like a fucking like anime sometimes, you know. It's a little over the top, and all the way back to the first and second ones on the PS1.
And I'm really excited for this, but also the whole internet like discourse around Silent Hill 2 because Bloober Team is developing it. People hate Bloober Team, and I'm not sure why.
Bloober.
It is a hard name to say.
No, it's fun. Bloober.
I'm not sure why they hate them. Like, I've played a couple of their games and I've thought they're okay, but I will see how they do with Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
We'll see.
I count you in on, like, when I see this, I'm like, okay, I don't need to play Silent Hill 2. Kaulin will play that and he'll cover it for the show.
Yeah, I'll play it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Are you a BioShock fan, bro?
I love BioShock.
You played all three?
Okay, well, you might want to take my BioShock love card away because I've only played BioShock Infinite.
Oh, crazy. You should play BioShock 1. It's like 8 hours long and you'd love it and it holds up.
I know. I have.
We've talked about this on the show.
Yeah, we have.
They challenged you to that before.
They put out like the BioShock collection, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago now. I have that. I could play it. I should play it. But I just haven't gotten around to it.
Even if you didn't stream it, if you were just like chilling, like had a couple nights to yourself and you were doing work and playing 2 hours of games a night, just doing that 1 week and just focusing on BioShock 1, I think you'd have a great time. To me, BioShock 1 is still not as good as Infinite. Infinite to me is king and one of my favorite single player narrative games ever. But I'm hot on this. Obviously, this is Ken Levine's next project, spiritual successor to BioShock, despite 2K holding on to the name and the IP and working on their own. But
it looks so good. It's so interesting too because we have Judas, which looks amazing. I can't wait for it to come out. But we also have Clockwork Revolution. Do you remember that game? It was by In Exile. It was like almost.
It's coming out for Xbox. Yeah, it was at the Xbox summer showcase or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's multi-platform. I could be wrong though, but
interesting.
Yeah, I think it's multi.
I think it might be announced for game. I think it might have a Game Pass. I think it might be for Game Pass though.
Gotcha. Okay.
A lot of those games were.
But it's like the two diverging paths of BioShock is the more sci-fi one, and then like the more like retro like steampunk version. So I'm very excited.
Pretty cool. Hot on this. Not much to say about it really right now, other than it definitely you can tell that the guy who made BioShock is making this, and it's a day one purchase and play for me, even with its tone being kind of scary and fucked up. But that was the BioShock tone too. It does it for me, man.
Also, I'm wrong. So far, Clockwork Revolution's only confirmed for PC and Xbox. So
cool. Good fact checking though. Metro Awakening was actually an interesting look, man. Metro series is popular. You're in on it, right?
I love Metro Exodus. Was my favorite game of 2019. Unless I can think of any other game of 2019. I might buy PSVR 2 for this.
That's also crazy.
It is, but I love
Sekiro, Control, Outer Worlds, Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry 5, Jedi Fallen Order, Gears 5, The Division, Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is my answer. Pokemon Sword and Shield, Borderlands 3, Mario Maker 2.
Yeah, I think Metro would have been my favorite game that year then.
That's fair.
But I mean like the favorite game that I played that year. Outer Wilds is great, but I didn't play it in 2019.
Yeah, retroactively it's tough to differentiate.
Yeah, but no, I love the Metro games, and this is the first time that I've seen a PSVR 2 game, and I'm like, I have to check that out.
Yeah, it looks really fucking good, man. Like, I would never play it. I don't really like VR games. I don't really like Metro games. However, there was something about watching this in VR where I was like, ooh, they're kind of nailing it. Like, I could see this being like something that people are going to be like, oh, this is the best VR experience since Half-Life Alyx. Like, yeah, it looks like that kind of level of immersion. But
I guess Asgard's Wrath now, since that got like a 10 out of 10 somehow.
Trailer. All right, you have 10 seconds to talk about.
Hold on, I'm not done with it. I'm not done with Metro. They did something. They did something with this trailer. How a lot of the times you watch a VR game and you know it's a VR game before they say it. I don't know if it's something to do with the way the camera shakes while in a VR trailer, but they did something to the camera in this where I did not know it was VR until his hands popped up, you know? I
saw those fucking meaty ass ham hocks immediately at that fire, and I was like, VR.
I wasn't sure. I was like, okay, well, maybe he's just resting at the fire and he's got his hands up. It definitely caught me off guard that it was a VR game somehow.
Yeah, I get that.
It looks good. Yeah.
You got 10 seconds to talk about Legendary Tales, the biggest lemon of the show.
Oh, honestly, Legendary Tales definitely is like the worst visual looking game at this show, but the more I watched it, there looks to be a lot of cool systems in that game, and like upgrading all the different abilities that you have. You can forge your own sword. I think it looks pretty cool. It's on Steam already in like early access.
You can forge your own destiny in it.
I'm sure you could. But
Oh,
it's got like it's
You've
got
been
very
way
positive,
longer than 10 seconds.
it's got very positive overall reviews on Steam, so I think it'd be cool.
Looks kind of haggard.
Yeah, you know, but that's okay though.
Dragon's Dogma 2 had a pretty nice showing. That game is looking pretty polished, looking pretty ready to ship. The gameplay cuts were really nice. Some of the effects, the graphics, like it was definitely the best look that we've had at this game so far.
Have you been keeping up with coverage of Dragon's Dogma 2?
No, I think I'm out on it. I think like to its detriment, that March 22nd release date is like, it's unfortunate. Dragon's Dogma 2 looks really good, but the thing that it's dealing with is I want to play it the least out of the 3 games that will come out that day. I'm playing Princess Peach Showtime first. I'm very interested in Rise of the Ronin after it's showing today. And Dragon's Dogma, like for the Souls crowd, for the Neo crowd, for the, you know, people that like these intense wizardy action games, awesome. But for me, I just don't think it's going to end up selling a copy to me.
I think you're looking at it wrong. I think like this game is the discovery in this game is being compared to Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring, in terms of uncovering things on the map and like traveling through the world being a journey instead of just a point A to point B. And then all the different
the sound of that.
Yeah, all the different vocations and stuff that you can specialize in. You know, whenever we played like Elden Ring, for example, whenever we get to play around with spells and stuff or whatnot, this game's going to do a really good job of differentiating each of its classes that I feel like a lot of games don't always do a great job of.
Sure.
But I personally, this is one of my most anticipated games this year. I just love like the not sci-fi, what's it, fantasy, the fantasy setting.
Yeah.
And then just everything that I've seen in the previews, just it looks so good. But also, Souls wise, this isn't like Souls combat.
No. Easier?
No. Yeah. It's not going to be Souls combat or like Souls difficulty.
You're selling me on it, to be honest. I'm glad we're having this conversation, because as you were talking about that, like the exploration, I was looking at it and I was like, I do see it like visually, it lands somewhere between Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild, where it's definitely much more of a cheerful universe than Elden Ring. Like so many times I think of playing Elden Ring and how bad that sucked the fucking soul out of me, man. And like I just hated existing in that world, and I felt dread all the time, and like I don't like the Souls environments, and they do that on purpose, and a lot of people like that kind of gothic horror nightmare to exist in, and I don't like existing in that world. And this looks much more like a Lord of the Rings fantasy epic type of thing, which is much more up my alley. So I would hear it out.
Yeah, it's got really cool systems too, like the pawn system, where you kind of make like a henchman and you can send them to other people's games and they'll help out in other people's games.
And like when you're not logged in, it's doing shit, right?
Yeah, when you're not logged in, it's exploring with other people and stuff.
Cool.
And then they've been talking about like the secrets and stuff hidden in this game that's going to take people a long time to find. Stuff like that always gets me excited. Yeah, but I think it's going to be like an all-timer, honestly. I think this might be one of the best of the year, and I can't wait.
I can see that being the case.
It's the game that's getting my money on March 22nd or whatever day it is.
Yeah, you think this game shows up in GOTY conversations at the end of the year, like across outlets?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Interesting. I know the original is beloved, but I don't know if I would have pegged it for that. You know what? I'll pay closer attention, because I'm much more interested after talking to you about it. And if it scratches that Elden Ring itch of exploration, which I haven't had since Tears of the Kingdom, I guess, I'd be interested to check it out, especially with you, if it has like that multiplayer aspect where we could do some shit together, you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure entirely what the extent of multiplayer is, if there is, but I know like the pawn system. And then, for example, to end the conversation, I'll say what I had heard about like the travel in this game. Fast travel is very expensive in this game. They want to
they want you to walk around. I did catch some of this.
So you can fast travel. It costs stuff. But while you walk around, you kind of have some options. You can fast travel to a place. You can ride a horse and buggy, which they're not everywhere. You have to find a horse and buggy, ask where they're going. They could be going like one town over, and then you ride to the town over and then go there. But while you're on the horse and buggy, you can be ambushed by enemies and have to fight. Or you can go the least safe way, which is traveling on foot. You encounter a bunch of stuff. And then there's a mechanic in this game that decreases your maximum health during combat. So it encourages you to rest at like bonfires. I'm not sure what they're called in this game, but it encourages you to rest your party to replenish your max health. And they've talked about how occasionally you'll start a combat encounter. The thing that you're fighting will run away and escape. And then later on in the game, it will come and hunt you down for revenge. And it will interrupt you while you're resting at the campfire. And just things that make it feel like a more living world.
Yeah, some emergent gameplay type beats.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
Interesting.
I'm in.
So on that day, you're doing Dragon's Dogma, not Rise of the Ronin?
I'm doing Dragon's Dogma and not Rise of the Ronin. And the reason being, I feel like I've already played Rise of the Ronin.
So surprised, bro. But yeah, but you love Tsushima and you love Sekiro.
I do, but this isn't that. Like, I think I will still play this game, but every time I look at it, it looks like Walmart Ghost of Tsushima.
Hey, man, I don't know. I was like, the opening shots of gameplay where they show grapple, and I'm like, ooh, grappling looks fun, and then they show grapple into glider, and I go, oh, mama.
I agree. I did have the same reaction there, but I don't know if that's enough to carry me through. At least over Dragon's Dogma 2, if that makes sense.
Yeah. For right now, it's looking pretty hot to me. I think it was a nice chunk of gameplay too, and I guess the thing that now scares me is like, maybe I had it backwards, and like, as somebody who's kind of scared of difficult combat, the more that I look at this, like, ooh, maybe actually gameplay wise,
yeah,
Dragon's Dogma might be more for me. I think visually and traversal wise, seeing that is the most appealing thing to me. Like running on those rooftops, you get those Assassin's Creed vibes. Gliding, you get those Zelda vibes. It seems like it's the jam. But you know, I haven't ever played Sekiro, and I only played an hour of Ghost of Tsushima, and I do want to get back to it and play it someday. But
I feel like if you played Ghost of Tsushima, your appetite for this game would be satisfied. Also, if we think about what other games this company's made, they made Nioh, which is famously known as one of the hardest Souls-like games. And then they made like Strangers of Paradise, which
they made Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which is maybe what this game looks the most like.
Yeah, that's right, Wolong. I forgot about that.
Yeah, most recently.
Yeah, so I'll play this game. I'm excited for it, but something about it just hasn't entirely sold me yet. So.
That's fair. I think it had a good showing today, more than other days. But out of the two games that we got deep dives on, Stellar Blade, man.
Oh, easy.
Stellar Blade. You must be red hot on Until Dawn remake.
I think so. I recently played the original. Well, I say recently. It's probably been about 2 or 3 years at this point, but I love it. I love the original. I don't really think that it needs a remake, but I have been reading about it, and it's actually doing more things than just increasing like the visuals. I guess it's let me pull up the exact wording of it.
Yeah, you pull that up. I think one of the weird things about this is that this game, I feel like in pop culture, is really known for like, hey, Rami Malek's in this game. They didn't show him in the trailer. Do you think he was recast? Like there was like a rights thing? Like,
no.
Really?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's.
Why would they not show his face?
They didn't really show many faces in the trailer, honestly.
They showed pretty much like a bunch of faces that were not Rami Malek. I remember that. I'm just saying, like, if you have a cast, like if you have a Mission Impossible movie, you show Tom Cruise. Rami Malek's one of the bigger actors of the video game world for sure.
It could be like a marketing thing. I don't know how that stuff goes in terms of you can't show.
Wonder if there's a likeness issue.
But I don't think they got rid of Rami Malek because I've played this game and I know the role that he plays, and I don't think you can recast that. Personally.
Yeah.
But
never the goal, but obviously happens sometimes.
I just don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I'll scrub through it later and get a better view of it, but I just don't think they could recast him.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't have a choice though.
Yeah, in terms of what they're actually changing about the game, because they're actually doing more than just increasing like the resolution. So it says they're changing like the color palette of the game. They said they're going for a more broader cinematic tonal color palette with new perspectives that make the story more nuanced and emotional.
What was the color palette initially, do you think?
It was just really dark and like bluish gray. I guess they're adding more color to it, but then they're also saying they're incorporating a third-person camera to allow you to kind of look around the environment in ways that you weren't able to before. It's always been a third-person game, but it was like a fixed camera angle, and as you would progress through the environment, the camera would move along with you.
Nice. Resident Evil style type thing.
Yeah. They're adding an actual third-person camera, and it says they're doing a new score for the game. It says Until Dawn's sound has undergone massive overhaul too, featuring a new score from legendary horror composer Mark Corvin. I don't know who that is or what else they've done, but doing a new score on a remake is interesting to me. I don't think I've ever really on this scale of a remake. I don't think I've ever seen it before.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, Mark Corvin. He has done a lot actually. He did The Lighthouse, The Black Phone, Night Swim, lots of good stuff. Ooh, Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City.
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
But
cool.
Yeah,
nice that it's not just a cash in.
Yeah, I'm more excited for this than I thought I would be. Also, it's coming out on PC, so that's exciting.
I think that this is all to coincide with a
film release. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was the last
Until
part
Dawn
of the blog.
back on the.
Yeah, last part of the blog was stay tuned for more on newly announced film adaptation of Until Dawn. It's directed by David S. Sandberg. He did Lights Out and Annabelle Creation. And then screenplay written by Gary Dauberman. He did It Chapter 2, The Nun, and The Nun 2. And then Blair Butler, The Invitation.
Competent team behind the Until Dawn reboot. Cool.
Yeah.
The last game of the show, man. In grand fucking fashion. Death Stranding 2. Holy shit. What a look at a video game.
He does the thing of he shows all this stuff that you're like, how does this connect?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on? Like I remember watching trailers for Death Stranding 1. I'm like, why are they in Vietnam now? What? But he does
your
the same
history
thing
with Death Stranding is
I got the Death Stranding collector's edition. I have a
That's right, you have the baby and you beat it and you love it, right?
I beat it. I put 100 hours into it, got the platinum trophy.
Cool.
Have a replica of the necklace from the first game.
So red hot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my journey is just starting. I'm about halfway through Metal Gear Solid 2 for the first time. I beat Metal Gear Solid 1 very recently, and I am fucking obsessed with him as a video game director and as a person, and I think it's batshit insanity, and just seeing this makes me want to get into Death Stranding so bad. And I guess my loose goal is I'd like to get through Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 before Delta comes out so I can play Delta. And then I'd like to get through Death Stranding before Death Stranding 2 comes out so I can get into Death Stranding 2 because I want to be hyped for the next Kojima project.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think you would hate Death Stranding. At least
so I left this out of game list and I think I will continue to, but I got zonked out of my mind the other night at 2 in the morning. And I played the first 2 hours of Death Stranding off stream.
Wow.
And I did it in a way that I was like, so the thing that's happening to me is I have Metal Gear Solid is on my mind in a way that is crazy. I think about this game series all the time, but I only stream it once or twice a month so that we can have a special Metal Gear night with chat. And I'm so thirsty for it that I was like, I'll just start Death Stranding on my own. And I turned off all the lights in my room, and I played, instead of on my monitor, I played it on my fucking 4K TV, and I leaned back in my chair, and I didn't multitask at all, and I just fucking zoned in and played the first 2 hours of Death Stranding. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be a slow burn, but I'm gonna fucking love it. Like, I was so in. Okay. So I think I'm in, man. I think I'm in. Like, I get what they're doing. Like, and that's the thing, is like, I'm being indoctrinated, I believe is the correct word, by the other Kojima stuff, because there is a lot of, like, in Metal Gear Solid 2, you'll play the game for 10 minutes and then watch a 15-minute cutscene, and then play the game for 5 minutes and watch a 10-minute cutscene, and I like that shit. Like, I am cool with the slow.
I love it. I love the long cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you,
George Miller?
Wait, what?
Or is it George Miller? Is that his name? The director of Mad Max and Happy Feet?
Oh, I don't actually know.
He's the character, I'm pretty sure, at the beginning of the thing. He's like playing like the doctor or whatever.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure it's George Miller. Yeah, it is. For sure.
I had no idea. The thing is, if you decide that you're not going to finish Death Stranding, just watch like the cutscene version of it. Like, pull up like the 12-hour YouTube video that has all the cutscenes in a row. Watch that, and then watch like an explanation, and then be prepped for Death Stranding 2, because I don't think Death Stranding 2 is going to be entirely delivering packages like the first one.
No, it looks like there's much more going on.
I need much more going on, because I put 100 hours into that game and then never got around to the director's cut, just because I was so tired of delivering packages. I'm excited for new things in the world of Death Stranding, but I don't want more pure package delivery stuff.
The title track for Death Stranding by Churches.
Oh,
you can take my heart.
Dude, all of the music in Death Stranding is phenomenal.
It's crazy. My friend was talking to me about like one of the artists that features prominently like died soon after the release of the game, and they have like a huge role in that. And such a sad story, but really just like that game just seems so far up my alley, man. What do you think of this Troy Baker pilled shit?
I love it. I love it because listen, dude, Troy Baker fighting with a laser guitar. What is going on?
Yeah, dude, so I was kind of hyped up, bro. I was feeling it for sure.
Like freaking gold Joker, Troy Baker in an Iron Man suit with a laser guitar.
It does have a certain element of like Jared Leto Joker, like kind of cringe and over the top, but like, I don't know, it works here.
This giant mech that comes out of nowhere, like, what is going on? He's playing the guitar. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's bonkers. Awesome. It is fucking bonkers shit.
I'm curious what is it L or Ellie? L Fanning?
L Fanning. L. Yeah, L.
I've been screwing it up for a while now. Elle Fanning, I'm curious what her role is in this game. She's actually shown in this trailer. Yeah, I'm in. I'm hot on it, and I am kind of sad it's a 2025 release. I think that
was a little bit jarring, but overall really good look at the game. And I think by the time it comes out, we'll both be in on that.
Yeah,
pretty fun.
Man,
I'm really excited for like as like a just like a one-off. Excited for some of our differences in overlap coming up in 2024, 2025 with the games that we've discussed. Like I feel like we're both kind of like locked in on some cool stuff that we'll be able to talk about together, and have like some key differences. Like, you know, you'll do Silent Hill, I'll do Sonic, that type of bullshit.
Yeah.
On the beach.
But before we completely leave Death Stranding, or Kojima, I guess. It should be noted he teased like probably the first PS6 game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
His action espionage game that they're not even going to start until after Death Stranding 2, and then he's already got OD. So he's going back to the roots.
OD seems like it's something different. Like I don't know if we're gonna look at like
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like OD is being developed alongside, in addition to Death Stranding, if that makes sense. And it seems like it's like a smaller episodic cloud-based thing, more of like an experience. And it also seems like it's going to be something of like a amalgamation of different artists contributing to this project as well. Like I don't think this requires all of Kojima's attention at any point. OD.
No, I don't think so either, but it's just odd to, they just have a lot going on. Also, one thing that so Death Stranding is in the Dogma engine, which is made by Guerrilla Games that makes Horizon.
Yeah.
That's where Herman Hulst came from. But OD's being made in Unreal, so it's interesting to have your team split down the middle in terms of like what tools they're using.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I'm sure it's way far off in the future, but I'm curious how they'll decide which to use for their new action espionage, which I guess you're excited for if you're into Metal Gear now, because
I think everyone should be excited for.
Yeah, the whole time Herman was like, he was just like nudging. He's like, yeah, we really want you to.
I've been trying to get you to do this for a long time. Yeah, they essentially just announced a PS6 spiritual successor to the Metal Gear franchise.
Exactly right.
Which is super fucking exciting from somebody who's getting into Metal Gear right now, and with the storied history of like what happened with Metal Gear 5 and Kojima's relationship with Konami, and especially with PlayStation backing and funding and Kojima Productions, that doesn't seem like it's hurting for money at this point either way. People are just willing to fund whatever this guy wants to do. He is, I mean, an industry fucking enigma, man. Really cool shit, dude. And that is immediately just a game that I'm so fucking excited for.
He's playing like both sides of the industry. He is dealing under the table with both of them, like Xbox and PlayStation, and I love it. Hey man, get your bag,
right?
You know, like,
for sure.
But then they also announced that this action espionage will be a mixture of live action and video game. When we're talking basically about stuff, it's all confusing, but
the way that I kind of like perceive that section of the explanation there, as far as like bridging the gap between movie and all that, I just think it's going to be kind of like, if you look at what Metal Gear is, and if you know your lore about like what Metal Gear Solid 4 is, how familiar with Metal Gear Solid 4 are you?
Not very.
Metal Gear Solid 4, essentially, they were kind of working their way up. Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, more and more cutscenes, more and more story, more and more scenes where it's like, oh shit, like we didn't do anything for 35 minutes and we just watched it. Metal Gear Solid 4, when it came out in the zeitgeist, which was like 2013 or something like that, was very making like early video game news headlines of like, there's a 1 hour 45-minute cutscene in Metal Gear Solid 4, which is true. Like that game is more than 50% cutscene and then 50% gameplay. And I think it's just that mixed with the kind of star power and technology that he's been using in Death Stranding 2, where, you know, the lead character will not just be like the likeness of a character like Solid Snake. It will likely be a casted character, like a Timothy Chalamet will be the star of it, you know what I mean? And it will look photorealistic, and it will have crazy motion capture like God of War.
I just think whatever he's going to do is going to be 2 steps further and weirder than we expect.
Oh yeah,
that's just what he is. Also, I think I'm yelling that he should get Sam Lake involved, because Sam Lake is at the forefront of mixing live action with video games. Like,
I think they should stay completely separate. I mean, it seems like Sam Lake took a really big step over these last like 5 years to becoming like a full, you know, you use that word, we throw it around lightly in the video game industry, but auteur. And there's very few of them in the video game industry. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
And I think that Kojima is number 1 in that category, just respected by name. And then after that, it's probably Druckmann, I would say. And then honestly, maybe Sam Lake just took 3.
Sam Lake above like Neil Druckmann.
Maybe. I mean,
just in terms of
Last of Us 1 is tough, like, to.
In terms of weirdo stuff, yeah, but all the Last of Us 1 wasn't just Neil Druckmann. People always forget about I've forgotten his name. I've forgotten his name. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's okay.
But it wasn't just Neil Druckmann. You know?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I think he does a lot of the heavy lifting there, and especially seeing him take Last of Us to the TV to fully direct episodes and stuff like that is lending some credence to that. But I mean,
yeah, and to finish the showcase, they did a drone like fly out shot.
Yeah,
that they were filming this at the Columbia Pictures
cool
recording studio.
Yeah, Hollywood, man.
Yeah, and it revealed the name of the project, PHYSINT or PHYSINT.
Oh,
I don't even know how to pronounce that.
I didn't realize that was a tease there. Interesting.
Yeah, that's the tease of the name of the Kojima said it's currently called like Project PHYSINT, PHYSINT. I don't really know how to pronounce it.
Isn't interesting. That wasn't technically the close of the show. There was a one more thing.
Oh yeah, you're right.
There was a one more thing, which I'm very excited for. So I had theorized for a while that today was a special day, man. Today's January 31st, 2024. It's the, I believe, 27th anniversary of the release of Final Fantasy VII. It's Final Fantasy VII Day. So I assumed that we would get a big look at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, one final big push, and perhaps get the demo shadow dropped on us. But it looks like that is going to be happening at its own event exactly 7 days from now, or 6 days from now, on February 6th. So on February 6th, on Tuesday, there's going to be a standalone state of play focusing on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That likely will show off, of course, a bunch of new stuff from the game, all kinds of new announcements, interviews with developers and whatnot, but then probably have that demo get shadow dropped. So ending it on a high note with like a one more thing of one of those standalone events, similar to what they did in the past years with like, they had one for... I remember one for Horizon. I remember one for Gran Turismo 7 very specifically. And then there really wasn't one for God of War. There was a God of War focus at one of the state of plays that had other stuff, but they had some weird cadences where like they showed off like God of War, Subnautica, and like one other game or something like that at the God of War when it wasn't just a single God of War state of play. But I think this is smart. Really cool.
It's under a week away.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And that game's under a month away. That comes out on Leap Day. Holy shit, man. Rebirth, Game of the Year 2024. Mark it down.
Maybe. It'll be good.
Can't wait.
I'm excited for it.
We got to figure out something special to do for Rebirth, man.
Yeah.
Maybe we can tackle Rebirth depending on what your play cadence is, because I'm stopping for no man. But depending on how fast you're busting through that game come early March, maybe we can do something like we did for
like
Zelda.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, and get our heads together 2 or 3 times.
I will try my best to go as fast as possible, but it's a very busy time for me.
For sure. Yeah, you're good, man.
Yeah.
But if we can figure it out, we'll figure it out. Either way, we'll talk about it at length on the Gameless podcast proper. And at the very least, if we don't talk about it and we don't have all that time, once you wrap it, if we want to just sit down and talk about it for an hour and do a special one-off podcast, we can do that. Definitely. I think that's my big resolution for Gameless this year, outside of the changes that we talked about, that we'll get into starting on the episode that we recorded this weekend. That's a nice tease right there. Taking notes about the games that I play is something that I really want to get better at. And I think that'll just help me with my podcast presence, I suppose. I don't feel like I'm bad at it, but when I watch something like this and we talk about it, I feel like I'm fresher in my head than when we're doing the game list episodes proper, and I have to remember how I felt at the moment when I was playing a game that I played 25 days prior, you know? So
yeah, I've been taking notes this year, and I've been trying to keep track. I have a Twitter thread of all the games that I finished this year.
Oh, smart. Yeah, I track it and I add your stuff into the now playing. I'm a freak.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Just
you ever go into it? We have a shared game list like thing. Oh, also I cleaned up that thing like a baller. It looks great this year, doesn't it?
So much better. Yeah, I like it this year much better.
Shout out to me. But I do through it and I see Kaulin tweet and he'll be like, I just finished this game called Lake, and I'll be like, 2024 games played. Kaulin, Lake. Why not catalog your life for you? I'm on the case, bro. But really fun. Hey, great conversation, dude. Fun to do a little one-off podcast and take some of the meat off the table for the episode for this next episode. So when people are like, Gameless proper, when are you guys gonna talk about PlayStation State of Play? We're like, motherfucker, we talked about that for an hour.
We already did. And it was good. It was a great. I'm just happy you're pleased with it, because that's always a shock for me, is when you're pleased.
I think the smart move that they did getting into this was a essentially this was a PlayStation showcase, and they called it a state of play to put expectations in check, which I think was smart, because when they called it a showcase last time, people went through the roof, and it didn't stop me from getting overly hyped and stuff like that, but it just had enough to, like, I think it had a good balance of, like, here's already announced stuff that looks cool, here's unannounced stuff that you're now hyped for, and then here is some stuff that has been floating around the ether for a while, but it's your best look at it yet, and it looks really good. Like, I think it also benefited from just being chock full of first party and third party stuff for a year where we don't know that much. And as much as I love the Xbox Developer Direct, which we'll talk about a bit more on the Gameless podcast from a couple weeks ago, that being limited to 4 to 6 games, basically, I think hinders it in a year where we have so many question marks as to what the remainder of the year looks like. I mean, obviously we're coming off of the heels of a 2023 that is a legendary year for game releases, and 2024 is going to be lighter, but even compared to like a 2022, a 2021, a 2020, a 2019, I can't remember being this unsure of what's happening as we reach February 1st of like, hey, what the fuck does the holiday season look like? And this did a better job of maybe showing us. And
I agree.
That being the case, props to Sony for having a banger. It's the best state of play that I can remember in a long while.
Yeah, I think it was great. I had a great time.
Nintendo's up, man.
Soon.
Yeah, probably that like the second week of February they'd like to hit, like right
they'll definitely
Valentine's
be
Day.
Announcing the next console, right?
Ready for my possibly, that's still up in the air. My prediction is probably a tease. It just depends on what they have left on the docket. My guess is that there's a Nintendo Direct on Tuesday, February 13th is my guess.
I have an interview that day.
Nice. I hope you get it, and I hope that the Nintendo Direct is sweet and it's like the best day of your life.
I have an interview day after tomorrow.
I hope there's a Nintendo Direct that day too, and you get both jobs, and then you have to put them in a bidding war. 5
interviews this month.
Damn, bro. Damn, bro. Yeah. Very dope shit. All right, let's wrap it up. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Kaulin _ everywhere. Make sure to put the underscore. I literally searched my name in YouTube the other day. Nothing if you don't put the underscore. It's just like a bunch of like Korean doctors or something like that.
I am Jake Twitchin on all platforms. There is no underscore, but if you have trouble finding it, just go to amazingstreamer.com. That's not a joke. I bought that URL, and it is a portal to everything that we do, everything that I do, including Gameless. So if you want to find Gameless somewhere else, you can click the links in that website as well. Very easy. We make it so simple. Again, more Gameless for your ears over the next week. We'll get our first episode of 2024 in, recapping what we did in January and what we're looking forward to in February. Good stuff, some cool changes coming, and an emphasis on some more exciting things. We'll talk about it in a couple days. Colin, best game of the show was Ready, Set, Go. We'll say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Shadow
Judas.
and Sonic Generations. Sonic and Shadow, Sonic X Shadow.
I don't even know the name. How can it be the best?
Thanks for listening.
Judas.